What if I told you that there was a team of workers that traveled around building, expanding, and fixing the power grid so that more people could have more reliable resources to contribute to society? I bet you'd say, that's the power company. Where then I would say, yes, except this team resides inside you, right here, right now. Yeah. Yo. What is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and longevity and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic manner. Today, we are talking about how this little army of microscopic molecules called neurotrophic factors can build neuronal infrastructure, protect it, and fix it to keep you, in this case the power grid owner, juiced up and operating efficiently till the very end, or what I'll call the great blackout. But let's not think about that. So we will first start with what these neurotrophic factors are, talk about an often overlooked yet powerful one called MANF, review the mechanisms and data around how it provides a protective effect against modern disease like neurodegeneration, and finally how we can rally this workforce on a more frequent basis. Because come on, no one wants to work if they don't have to, especially those union shops. Thus, we must incentivize them. So let's do just that. First, what are neurotrophic factors? These microbuilders are small molecules of polypeptides, which have an important role in neural regeneration, remyelination, which are the outlier membranes that protect neurons, and regulating the development of the peripheral and central nervous systems, or the systems that are responsible for facilitating pretty much all the communication throughout our body. Kind of important. Now, there are more than one neurotrophic factors, but the ones of high relevance include BDNF, NGF, GDNF, CNTF, CDNF, MANF, and WTF. Not that last one. But after all those acronyms, I know that's what you're saying. All of these factors have different roles and functions, but nonetheless carry out the mission statement of improved neuronal function when active. The when active part being rather important. Here's why. Neurotrophic factors act by binding to specific cell surface receptors that signal the neuron to turn on activities that promote survival. These are potentially so important that it has been suggested that the development of human neurodegenerative disorders may be due to the alteration of neurotrophic factors and their receptors, a topic that we talk about in many of the I better start protecting my brain videos on this channel. It's a solid category, I know. But like I mentioned before, it's not only about neuroprotection, but neuronal growth as well, as three of the most studied neurotrophic factors, BDNF, NGF, and GDNF, have shown the ability to switch on a series of genes that stimulate the growth of new neuronal pathways, while, might I add, strengthening the existing ones. I think we're finally figuring out Jimmy Neutron's secret. We're on to you, Jimmy. And you too, Goddard. I think I forgot about you. Goddard's a good boy. These factors essentially provide fertilizer for brain plasticity, or the creating of new connections in the brain, explaining why we can learn new things and skills all throughout life, and not just when we're a kid, kind of like you're doing right now. I mean, hopefully. No promises. If you want a deep dive on the most popular of these factors, BDNF, Brain-Derived Neurotrophic Factor, we did a full breakdown right here. Now, with that background, it is time to venture into new 5-pound mushy membrane territory and explore a more recently discovered class of evolutionary conserved neurotrophic factors, specifically mesencephalic astrocyte-derived neurotrophic factor, which from here on out I am going to abbreviate with MANF to save me the agony of trying to pronounce that again. Let's dive in. What is MANF? Or what's up, man? F? MANF is a neurotropic factor that surprise, surprise, the brain and peripheral neurons use to grow larger and operate more efficiently. It also happens to be a cardiomyokine, which is a heart-derived secreted protein that influences cardiovascular function. In this case, help the heart contract, which, from my last count, is cool for biological school. Now, originally MANF was discovered by its observed neuroprotective activities in dopaminergic neurons, aka supporting the neurons that regulate the oh-so-important dopamine reward system. However, this neurotrophic factor has since been shown to do much more. Interestingly, it has been found to be widely expressed in both the nervous system and non-neuronal tissue. Areas such as the hypothalamus, cerebral cortex, hippocampus, cerebellum, liver, heart. Let me just take a breath because there's more. Eyes, blood, saliva, cartilage, testes, spleen, and pancreas. Which makes me wonder, think it interacts with our gut microbes too? A topic for another day. What we've learned about this factor thus far is it plays a huge role in repairing neurons and cells after times of high stress. And here's how. During chronic injuries, apoptosis, or programmed cell death, and inflammation can create a positive feedback loop that promotes further tissue damage, a process that eventually leads to degeneration and dysfunction if not controlled. MANF is a natural response to these stressors, which acts as a cytoprotective compound and immune modulator to promote tissue recovery. And in terms of benefits, the data suggests that it could have influential and promising effects across a number of different conditions. Things like neuronal damage and neurodegeneration, specifically Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, where data has shown that MANF can activate autophagy-related genes and alleviate the accumulation of alpha-synuclein, a protein that is prevalent in Parkinson's, accumulating and creating clumps called Lewy bodies. But through this pathway, autophagy, which is our in-house cellular recycling program, helps rid the cell of this buildup. Next, these factors have also been shown to influence one of the most prevalent and growing diseases on this planet, diabetes, as it has been shown to be highly expressed in pancreatic beta cells. These are the cells that produce the ever-important insulin, and MANF has shown to protect them from endoplasmic reticulum stress, and even been shown to potentially enhance the growth of new beta cells. Animal research on the topic has shown that MANF deficiency results in pancreatic beta cell depletion, setting the stage for a more serious case of diabetes to develop. Additionally, MANF has been shown to have an influential role in liver, kidney, and heart function, ocular health, autoimmunity, and even energy regulation due to its expression in the hypothalamus. And I just gotta say, it's truly mind-boggling to know that we have so many complex and precise processes happening inside of us each and every second, and we're out here worrying about what other people think about us. By the way, you want some help with that? Check out this newly released video on how to get your Zen on right here. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Here lies the problem. MANF is regulated by stress in the endoplasmic reticulum, a part of the cell that is responsible for folding proteins and keeping the cell stable. Damage to this area, aka ENS, endoplasmic reticulum stress, is a common pathology to many chronic illnesses, including hypoxia, stroke, insulin resistance, neuroinflammation, and vision problems, potentially in part by its effect on this neurotrophic factor. And as we know, MANF not only modifies endoplasmic reticulum homeostasis to protect cells against ERS-induced cell death, but also regulates neuroinflammation and the immune system response to promote tissue repair and regeneration. Thus, we want to do things that keep this delicate system working properly, right? So, what are some ways that we can keep it healthy without over or under doing it? Because you know, it's all about balance. Modulating MANF. Since MANF is upregulated during times of stress, the question becomes, how can we modulate it just enough to be beneficial, yet not too much to damage and destroy the cell altogether. Here we become reacquainted with our old friend hormesis, which, if you don't know, is the process in which exposure to a low-dose stressor, a stressor that can be toxic at higher levels, induces an adaptive and beneficial response on the cell and thus organism. And this adaptive benefit tends to extend way past any one neurotrophic factor or cellular process, as it is a complex and multifaceted biological response which benefits the organism at a holistic and systemic level. And when combined with the reduction of habits that have been associated with cellular and metabolic dysfunction, you have a pretty interesting and potentially potent health and longevity potion on your hands. So let's start with some of those damaging habits. You know, those habits that are associated with taking down the cellular vibe and driving disease. Things like chronic sleep deprivation, or getting less than 7 hours of nightly Z's. An ultra-processed diet, aka the standard Western diet, comprised of high-fat, high-sugar, processed meat, additive, abundant, packaged foods. Then we have always being anxious, uptight, or aggravated, aka chronic stress. A sedentary life and staying indoors, the overabundance of harmful chemicals and pollutants, such as the ones found in cleaning supplies, body care items, and packaging. Oh, and we can't forget the frequent use of things like recreational drugs and alcohol, which very rarely have a beneficial or therapeutic effect. These are just a few of the common culprits, and they often work together, chipping away at cellular and metabolic health over time and creating an uphill battle for your body to overcome, and thus paving the way for an uprise of disease. All that being said, and as you know from being part of the longevity fam here on the tube of Youb, these are all things that can be actively mitigated against. First, by not doing them, and second, by increasing those good stress habits, the habits that elicit that aforementioned beneficial response. Habits that we talk about all over the hundreds of videos on this channel. Just wanted to throw that in there. These include things such as daily direct sun exposure, as a lot of biological processes are modulated by that big flaming supernova in the sky. And as you know, we want to get some sun specifically in the morning to align our natural body clock, aka our circadian rhythms. It's also important to get outside. This increases your microdiversity, which we talk about here, and helps tune and strengthen your cells and immune system. Moving down the list and increasing the fun, we have heat and cold stress. Think sauna and ice bath. This elicits a heat or cold shock response, which makes the cell more resilient. Then, how could we forget one of the OGs? Exercise, as moving our badonkadonk alters our biochemistry and upregulates a number of cellular beneficial responses, including many neurotrophic factors. Next, eating real nutrient-dense foods. These foods, specifically fruits and veggies, are rich in phytochemicals, nutrients, vitamins, polyphenols, flavonoids, and other compounds that improve and strengthen our cellular health. And on the flip side, we have not eating at all, or at least for a strategic window, as strategic fasting has been shown to upregulate a number of longevity pathways, many times via this hormetic effect, one of the most prominent being the aforementioned cellular debris cleaning mechanism, autophagy, which we talk all about across the 50 plus videos on the How to Fast playlist. And finally, things like nasal breathing and acute hypoxia training can stimulate an adaptive response as well. Now, more do exist in the realm of pharmaceuticals and supplements, but as you know, we like to keep it all natural as much as we can. When it comes down to it, we have all the tools we need to stay healthy and prosper on the inside. These are the cellular mechanisms that have evolved over time, keeping us alive and on the rise without even having to think about it. We just need to turn them on by performing the habits that bring out the very best of our biological wiring and lead us down the path of present-day health and long-term longevity, rather than doing the opposite and stumbling down the oh-so-common path of disease that our modern-day society has become so accustomed to. Remember, you're in control. You have the power to implement meaningful change and alter your trajectory. And If you need a little extra help staying on track, you can join our weekly challenges in Patreon, where we as a group implement sustainable, longevity-focused change week by week, habit by habit, focusing on getting healthy from the inside at the cellular and metabolic level out. If you are interested, all the links for that will be down in the description below. Listen, you have the workforce, you have the internal team, you just gotta incentivize them to keep building, fixing, and expanding. You know what they say, there's only two things certain in this world, and that's something in taxes. I'll let you decide.